Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca, and welcome to this yoga sequence about struggle and surrender. This yoga sequence will strengthen and lengthen your body, seek balance between struggle and surrender, and bring your attention to some ease. So let's go get ready, and I'll see you on the mat.
We'll start today in a child's pose, so you can keep your knees close together or spread them wide to the edges of your mat. And reach out long in front of you, sitting the hips back towards the heels. And perhaps you haven't paid much attention to your breath yet today. So just begin to notice the breath, breathing deeply into the belly. Feel how the inhale stretches the skin of the back body. Allow your belly to soften. And use the breath to help yourself surrender anything you've carried with you into this practice today that's not useful for you. Just allowing ourselves to drop in here, to arrive on our mats. Now pressing your palms firmly into the mat, use your inhale to rise up slowly. We'll rise up halfway here, reaching the hands over towards one side of the mat and sending the hips in the opposite direction as we sink back. And feel free to interlace the top hand over the bottom. Bringing the breath into the side body, feeling the stretch all the way from the underside of the arm to the pelvis. Breathing into the lung on the side. Now, if you interlace the fingers, you can allow those to release. We'll press into the palms again, pulling the belly button into the spine, coming up like a wave and reaching over to the other side of the mat, sending the hips in the opposite direction. Breathing into the side body, imagining ourselves filling up the lung on this side of the body. And now on the next inhale, pressing the palms into the floor, riding that breath up like a wave. We'll come into a tabletop. So bring the knees under the hip points, the wrists right under the shoulders. Nice wide fingers here, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, or maybe curling the toes under, and then allowing the belly to drop as we inhale. And exhaling into cat, pulling the belly button into the spine. Inhaling here. couple more times with your own breath. Pressing the mat away, really curling that heart space up and down, rounding the back body as you come up. And then we'll all meet in tabletop. So coming to your neutral spine, we'll walk the hands, a couple of handprints out in front, turning the toes under in the back, pressing firmly into the hands, and then slowly peeling lower body up, hips coming up towards the ceiling. And we'll pedal out gently through the feet here. And you might even move slightly side to side, just warming up the body here, stretching into the muscles of the back of the leg, pressing firmly away from the mat. And we'll come to stillness here, inhaling up to the toes, exhaling to bend the knees, sending the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Nice big inhale here, and as we're exhaling, allowing the heels to melt down towards the floor. Inhaling up to the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale. And exhale, heels come down. One last time here. Inhaling up to the toes. Exhale, bending the knees. Belly comes towards the thighs. Nice big inhale, and as you're exhaling, allowing those heels to just melt down. And then taking the gaze forward, we'll walk to the top of the mat. Coming to rest here in a forward fold. You might like to walk the fingertips from one side to the other, or maybe you like to bend into one knee and straighten the other. Or maybe you just like to come into a ragdoll here, allowing the crown of the head to relax down towards the floor and the upper body to just surrender to gravity. And then we'll release the fingertips to the floor. You can bend the knees slightly here, and we'll inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to heart center. Taking a moment here to check in with our foundation. Nice wide toes, pressing down with the base of the toe, rolling the shoulders onto the back, and setting up for our sun salutations. So we'll allow the fingertips to drift down and then sweep up, exhaling as we come into forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale to surrender and bow. We'll step back with the left foot, exhaling as we look forward, allowing the hips to sink. Placing both hands on the floor, stepping that right leg back, coming to plank or maybe half plank. Inhaling here as we pull the elbows into the side body and exhaling as we lower down slowly, chaturanga. Tops of the feet come to the floor, inhaling up, baby cobra. Exhale to release, rolling the toes under, inhaling up through plank, exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left leg forward. Exhale, releasing into the lunge. Inhale the right leg forward. Exhale, releasing forward fold. Inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to meet overhead. Gaze can come toward the hands if you like. And then exhaling, hands all the way down through heart center, coming back down, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, releasing anything that you're carrying with you into this forward fold. Stepping back, right leg. Exhale, hips sink forward. Left lunge. Planting both hands, left foot steps back, coming to plank or half plank. Elbows come into the sides, exhaling, chaturanga. Tops of the feet to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, up through plank. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right leg forward. Exhale, releasing into the lunge. Inhale, left leg forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to heart center. And setting up now for our sun salutation Bee. We'll allow the fingertips to drift down, inhaling the arms up as we sink the hips back. Exhaling, hands come through heart center, flowing down all the way, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale to release. Stepping back, both feet coming to plank or half plank. And then coming through your vinyasa, sweeping up to upward facing dog if your back is ready for that, or keeping it at baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg forward, dropping the left knee. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale to release. Planting the hand, leg comes back, come through your vinyasa. Remember that anytime we have a vinyasa, you can go directly to downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg forward. Exhale, right knee comes to the mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, release. Left leg comes back, vinyasa. Sweeping up, upward facing dog. Down dog. Taking the gaze forward. Step, hop, or float to the top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale up to chair pose, Utkatasana. And then come back to stand. Take a moment here to breathe and reflect. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, sweeping the arms down, coming into forward fold. Planting both hands here, we'll step back, coming into downward facing dog. So really pressing out of the mat here, moving the weight towards the heels. 3 breaths. And then bringing the big toes together. On your next inhale, allow that left leg to reach up, like it's sliding up an invisible wall. And then bending at the knee, we'll open the left hip up towards the ceiling as we come into 3-legged dog. Inhaling, we'll extend that leg, squaring the hips back towards the mat. And then as we exhale, we'll bring that leg through, setting up for a high lunge. When you're ready here, sweep the arms up overhead. Coming into this high lunge, wrapping the shoulders around onto the back. And then we'll allow ourselves to hinge forward at the hips, sending the fingertips back, coming into a high lunge with the arms reaching back, and imagining that if you had a pencil, you might be able to hold it in between your shoulder blades. Deep breath. And then you can bring the hands to heart center. We're going to press firmly into that left foot as we begin to move our weight into that foot, coming to the toe of the right foot, or maybe extending that right foot around behind. And if you like to here, you can extend the arms out forward or to the sides. Lots of variations for this warrior three. And then we'll allow the fingertips to find the floor, coming into a figure L or maybe a standing split here. And then allowing that right foot to float back down to the mat. We'll plant the heel firmly, keeping that alignment of the left knee over the left ankle as we inhale up, warrior one. On an exhale, open the shoulders back, coming into goddess arms, opening the chest. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands drift back down towards the mat. We'll take this right foot and move it back out a bit, coming back into a lunge and planting the right hand into the floor, inhaling the left arm open. Exhaling that left arm back down to the mat. We'll take the left foot back to meet the right. We'll plant that left hand into the mat and roll to the left side, opening up to a side plank. And remember, you can always bring that top leg around in front to support yourself in your plank. Finding your focal point, feeling your strength here, welcoming the tremble, the little struggle. And then sweeping that arm back down, we'll switch ourselves back into our plank pose and come through our vinyasa. Coming to downward facing dog, shifting the gaze forward, and then step, hop, or float up to the top of your mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale up to stand with a flat back. We'll allow the hands to sweep around behind, taking the heel of the hand to the lower back here. We'll inhale, and as we're exhaling, just gently press into the buttocks, opening the chest, keeping the chin parallel to the floor. Little back bend. And then come back to stand. Find your Tadasana. Find your breath. And then on your next inhale, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, release. Planting both hands. We'll come back into downward facing dog. 3 breaths. And then taking those big toes together, we'll inhale the right leg up this time, opening that right hip up towards the sky, squaring the shoulders down to the mat. And then inhaling that right leg long, squaring the hips back towards the mat. Exhaling, right leg comes through, right lunge. Finding your balance here, pressing back through that left heel and inhaling up into our lunge on this side. Rotating those pinky fingers towards each other, aligning the knee over the heel in front, and exhaling, sweeping those fingers back. Bringing the hands to heart center. We'll press into the right foot here, bringing that left foot up to the toe, or maybe coming into a variation of Warrior Three. Finding your balance. Remembering that we practice balance by being off balance. So if you lose yours, that's okay. And exhaling, we'll bring those fingertips down to the mat, coming into our standing figure L, or maybe standing splits. And then allow that left foot to come down to the mat, pressing the heel firmly, inhaling up, finding Warrior One. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, open the elbows back. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands rain down, back to frame that right foot, stepping the left foot back, planting the left hand firmly, opening up, coming into a twist. Exhaling, right hand back down to the mat, stepping back, planting that right hand, rolling to the right side plank. Any variation you like here. You can have a leg around in front. You can lift a leg, finding your focal point, welcoming the strength into your body, welcoming the struggle. And then sweeping that arm back, around and down, coming back into plank and coming through your vinyasa. Remembering you can always come straight to down dog or straight to child's pose. Meeting here in downward facing dog, taking the gaze forward, step, hop, or float up to the top of your mat. Inhale up halfway, exhale, release. And then inhale all the way to standing. Hands come to meet overhead and down through heart center. Couple of breaths here, allowing yourself to receive the benefits of your practice. And then we'll allow the fingertips to drift down once more, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, coming into forward fold. Planting both hands here. We'll reach our feet back, downward facing dog. And then from our downward dog, we'll allow our knees to find the mat. We're going to keep the toes turned under here. And if you like, you can widen the knees just a bit to make space for your anatomy, or you can keep them close in. It's up to you. We're going to sink the hips back as if we're going into a child's pose and allow the forehead to rest on the floor as we bring the hands around behind and grab the heels. Once you have a hold of the heels here, pulling against the heels as we bring the crown of the head to the floor, you'll feel a stretch through the lower and upper back here. Being gentle and careful with yourself as always. Coming into rabbit pose. And if this pose is not available for you today or just doesn't work for your body, you can always seek a usual child's pose. And now we'll allow that to release, bringing the hands back next to the head and shifting our feet out to one side, coming back to a seat. at the back of our mat. We're going to allow the soles of the feet to come to the floor. And you can bring your hands around behind your legs here. Take a deep breath here. Roll the shoulders onto the back. Leaning back slightly, pulling the belly button into the spine. Lifting one leg and then the other. Finding your boat pose. 3 breaths. 1 breath. Second breath. Third breath. Coming out slowly. Soles of the feet find the floor. Allowing yourself to wrap your arms around your legs, dropping your chin to your chest. Feeling the ease of this counter pose. And then allowing yourself to release all the way down to your back. We'll bring the knees into the chest, rolling out through the lower back. And then we're going to allow the soles of the feet to find the floor. And we're going to take this leg and bring the knee into the chest as we extend what was our supporting leg out long. And then shifting the hips slightly towards the side we have elevated. You might need to press your palm into the floor a little in order to shift those hips. We're going to allow that leg to come all the way over to the side, opening up through the arm, taking the gaze over the opposite shoulder. And if you need a block or a pillow underneath your knee on this side, you can always bring that there. If it doesn't reach the floor, that's just fine too. Just coming into this twist. Inhaling that knee back to the chest. And then allowing the other knee to come up to meet it. Extending the opposite leg out long along the mat. And we'll then take this other knee over to the side, coming into a twist, shifting the gaze over the opposite shoulder. Letting everything go here into this twist. Not needing to force anything, but just allowing ourselves to surrender to the shape of the body, to release, to let go. And then bringing that knee back into the chest as we roll back onto the back. We'll allow the other knee to come up to meet it. Once again, both knees pulled into the chest. And then allowing those knees to part, we'll reach for the outsides of the feet or maybe the big toes, shifting the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Happy baby. You can find a little movement here. Keeping the shoulders and the neck relaxed on the floor. If your neck is tenting up, allow yourself to find a pillow or a block to support yourself. And then bringing the soles of the feet together, we'll allow the legs to shift out long, bringing the shoulders up underneath the back. And coming into our final resting pose. Taking just a couple of moments of quiet stillness here. Take a deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch your body out long. And then roll to one side, cradling your head on your arm for just a moment. Feeling the ease of that pose. And then gently pressing yourself back up to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. May you have found a balance between your struggle and surrender. And may your yoga follow you off the mat.